There was a renaissance starting in about 1500 in Europe that was unseating the Catholic Church's power and the nobility's power, who ran monopolies and wouldn't let anybody basically be a cobbler who made shoes or anything else seen as industrial unless you were given a certification license by the nobility. And that caused the Dark Ages because they didn't want any competition. The Dark Ages from about 410 all the way up till about 1500, more than 1,000 years. You can also call it the Middle Ages, a shorter period in there. And if you understand this, you understand the entire system of the battle in the West for the future. The Roman Empire falls. Later, the Byzantine Empire falls to the Muslims in Constantinople. Rome almost falls in the 800s. There are crusades out of France and England led by the Norse, the Vikings, who had conquered England and France. The Norse, who also founded Russia, crush the invaders. In 6 different major invasions, killing millions on both sides. Almost depopulating the Middle East and areas of Europe. A death battle. By the 1400s, people are sick of the tyranny of the monopolies of the nobility and the church, and they begin to use what's left of ancient masonry and ancient pre-Christian secret societies that I would not call satanic. Definitely occultic and hidden. To try to form a system to challenge the establishment and bring in a new enlightenment. They team up with the Rosicrucians, an ancient Christian sect predating Roman Catholicism and the Orthodox Church both. But they were mystics. Those groups merge, and from the middle of the 1400s to the 1760s, they had overthrown the real power of the monarchies, had started the Reformation, and had driven a tyrannical form of Catholicism out of much of Europe. Incredible prosperity was booming. Monopolies were being broken. Power of the people under different acts like Magna Carta expanding through were empowering the people. Comparatively, none of it was perfect. Both sides had problems. Both sides began to infiltrate each other. I'm going to skip this network break. This is so important. Christians and Masons that actually followed Christ by that point, Christian Masons, launched their operations in the colonies and believed they were finally going to have a truly free country to empower humanity. And the goal was to end slavery, empower women. It had to be done in phases. They launched the entire operation that was Francis Bacon's plan, the New Atlantis. They defeat the British Empire that no one had ever stopped. Working with the French that had launched their own plan. The problem was the German Illuminati, led by Adam Weishaupt, a Jesuit, had launched a counter-revolution secretly in the 1760s. And when he saw the 1776 revolution launched, he went operational with their counterfeit 1776. I know this from George Washington. He wrote a bunch of letters on it, but it's also in the histories. So you got George Washington in the West battling the head of the Illuminati, a Satanist, in the East. Classic battle. And they killed him. They poisoned him. They bled him to death. He was poisoned. They came in. They bled him to death. They killed George Washington. He was getting ready to come back into politics and face them. They killed him. And so there's been a battle between the German, and they're not German, but it's German-based, Bavarian Illuminati and the Western New Atlantis Renaissance group, which is the real Illuminati. They never called themselves that. They said, we're the Enlightenment. So the Illuminati said, oh, we're the light. They launch their counterfeit populist operation. They come in and they infiltrate. You can read Weissaup's writings because one of his letter couriers got struck down with a big manual that had copies of it to be given to other members in France. He got struck by lightning. This is an Encyclopedia Britannica, by the way. This is not my opinion. He got struck down. And again, I'm an expert on this. Discovery Channel, History Channel, interview me. I mean, I know what I'm talking about. I know the stuff 33rd degree Masons know, okay? And I learned it from research and historical information. It's all hidden right there. And so what happened is this group branded itself, and Weishaupt said, we'll take over the hunting societies and lodges for men that like to hunt, like the company of, guys sitting around drinking beer, the deer hunters. We will take over the reading societies and the literature societies and the music societies, and then we will take over the sexual secret societies, because a lot of folks wanted to be able to have sex with more than one person, or maybe they were gay or whatever, so there were sexual secret societies. And he said, we'll claim that we support all of these and that we're the original progenitors of these, and we'll claim that we're the Rosicrucians and the Christians and the Merovingians and all of it. And then our plan is total dominance and control to get rid of the church and to get rid of Christianity and get rid of the Muslims as well, and set ourselves up as absolute Luciferians over the world movement taking place in Europe and the colonies after 200+ years of the building Renaissance that was unseating the Catholic Church and its monopolies, as well as royalty across Europe, as well as England and Scotland. A Jesuit by training, Professor Adam Weishaupt at Ingolstadt University, then developed his own counter-populist movement that was not meant to overthrow the monarchies or overthrow the church, but to actually overthrow the Renaissance in the name of overthrowing the royalty and the church, to then establish a total world dictatorship that was Luciferian in nature. George Washington, in his famous letters against the Illuminati, points all of this out and says that the French Revolution is super bad news and is meant to create total tyranny and that needs to be resisted. So, simply put, it is a false political populist movement designed to basically say all the right things, come in and take over the Renaissance, take over civilization and society, and establish tyranny. When the police raided the Illuminati after one of their letter carriers was struck by lightning and they found whole dossiers going to France and other countries and Italy on how to run these operations, the Illuminati was broken up in Germany for a time. It moved in 1832 to Yale with the Russell Trust giving it millions of dollars to establish the organization at Yale and to try to take the United States over. Skull and Bones was founded. Skull and Bones took over a popular hunting lodge north of San Francisco that Mark Twain was a part of. They kicked them out close to 1900. And Howard Taft and others that were members of Skull and Bones went to Bohemian Grove and set it up as a party palace to induct other powerful men and robber barons and royalty to get them to join their death cult. It has since set up satellite organizations across the United States, and they now admit in the Washington Post that it was a satellite organization set up in the 60s, reviving a particular order, a hunting order that was a front then as well, with Scalia as an officer in it, and established a Bohemian Grove satellite in Texas. And as we've told you, there are other satellites around the country. So that's what this is. That's what's happening. And when we say secret society, it means a private intelligence network. They have their own courts, their own trials, their own systems. They copy the Masons, but they are not the Masons. They have taken the Masons over in many areas because it's compartmentalized, and the porch Masons or the profane Masons don't know they're being given a different teaching than one of the more ancient Solomon-based or Egyptian-based Masonic systems. But the real system that modified this and created the Renaissance would be the ancient Christian order. Stay with us. We'll be back.